Hello, this is a guy here, and now I'm doing Nubatama since I have a playable Nubatama that can go on rank. Vanguard is ending, so I might as well make as many deck profile videos as possible. Okay, let's start with the strides first. Let's go with Mugen Tenbu. Mugen Tenbu is our first stride. Mugen Tenbu is a very good first stride. He dominates a unit, gives it plus 3k for each face-up card. So if you do it later, that card gains so much power. So be careful. Make sure you don't pick a bad unit. But in the end, it will just kill that card. So it will retire that card. So it doesn't matter. So perfect target is like intercept. So it removes the intercept. Then let's go with Rene, the newest stride and the most powerful stride because it skill is so strong. It takes two cards from your opponent's hand. Thankfully, it has a ruling where it only takes non-heal guards and PG cards. So any other card can be used, can be taken. So if you needed a stride fodder next turn, your opponent needs a stride fodder next turn. Thankfully, it goes back to the hand at the end, which you can combo with another card to kill it, which is this card here. You can combo with Sadatsugo to kill it, but Sadatsugo's skill is once per turn, counter plus one. You kill a card after it attacks, either dominate or your card. And Rene's other skill is GB3. All dominated units get plus 10,000 and one crit, which makes people who run this at 4 very nice because they can do Rene first turn, combine it with Sadatsugo, and boom, they remove their opponent's chances of striding next turn. Especially if the opponent only has like one grade 3 or one stride fighter, or they have to do a hard stride, which is like 2 cards, or a super hard stride, which is 3 cards, or a really hard stride, which is 3 perfect cards. Then after that, it is Mugen Lord. Mugen Lord is our finisher. He's a finisher. You don't do him as a first stride because his skill doesn't mesh well unless your opponent doesn't have a intercept. Because for each face-up card in your Z zone, you can dominate a rear guard, or you can give it power, or you can give a rear guard power. Okay. Choose any record equal to blue. Face up cards in your G zone. Those units get plus 4k until end of turn. Stand and dominate the opponent's units and choose and attack your Vanguard. One at a time. This unit can ignore intercept when attacking until end of battle. The dominate unit's automatic ability does not activate. Very strong skill. So if you're like GB5, your opponent's entire field gets dominated, which is super good. Problem is the plus 3k is like permanent or something. It plus 4k is permanent, so if them intercepts, GG, because you won't be able to get over them easily. Next is Mokoro. I pulled 3 of these. For some strange reason, I was able to pull 3 of these, one after the other. I didn't even specifically search to get these. I just kept resetting the other card I wanted to get after I got it. Suddenly, first couple packs is Mokoro. Mokoro is a board wipe, so normally you run one of him. Like Reine, you want to max him. Mugen Tenbu, you want to max him maybe. Mugen Lord and Reine are the cards you want to max, like 4 each. So that means 4, so that's 8 slots, giving you 4 left. And Mugen Tenbu is a first try, which it gets replaced by Rine as the first try, so that's important. Mokoro is a board wipe, so very useful against clans that requires a lot of rear guards. Then the reason I run 3 is because I have 3. Might as well run 3. Like you just need like 1 or 2, because like after 1 or 2 Mokoros, your opponent's card advantage goes down. Like they have like no card advantage anymore because you have to either hard call those cards back from their hand, or they are a clan that can superior call out of cards. Then we have this card, which is Suku Morakan. GB2 on play, turn card face up, counter blast 2. Your opponent choose 4 cards in your opponent's hand at random, bind everything else, and return the cards that were binded back to your opponent's hand at the end of turn. Very useful card, but it's really just it's a finisher. Like, your opponent has such a big hand, your opponent's at 5, no intercepts. You strike this card, you counter blast 2. Your opponent has no more cards in their hand except for 4, and those 4 cards can possibly be not PG or heal guard, so your opponent is dead. And the stride skill of Zanki and Obral allows you to dominate a card on stride. So yeah, but it's a filler because it might as well be a filler. Then harmonics are unlocker slash equalizer. If you are playing Vanguard 0 or in real life, this will be the most important staple in any premium slash Vanguard 0 deck right now. Then we have Drachma. I was able to get Drachma. I have Drachma. In my Overlord deck list, I didn't put Drachma because I really don't see putting Drachma because I never feel like I needed him. Here you need it because sometimes you just want to do a Zero Dragon play. Same thing with like Link Joker and others. Sometimes doing a Zero Dragon play is very good. Oh, wait, I forgot the grade 3s. Zanki skill is Soul Blast. Start the red face, you draw a card, you call a card from hand. And your opponent at random calls a card from hand. And return it to your opponent's field and stuff. Then the other is Dominate. When placed or when you stride, choose one of your opponent's triggers. It gets plus 2k. Technically, it's any rear guard. It gets plus 2k if it's your opponent. It dominates and you can swing. Side doesn't ignore intercepts, so you have to pick wisely. And the 2k is permanent, so you have to pick wisely, which I said it again. Then Oboro, that's why their names is not Shiranui Oboro or Shiranui Zanki. We already know what Shiranui is. His skill is your opponent, you get to pick a card in your opponent's jump zone and superior call it, which is less OP compared to Zanki, but it's free. Then his dominate skill is when your opponent strides, you pick your opponent's card. You cannot pick you or your opponent's, but your opponent's only, and it gets plus 4k. Plus 4k. It turns a grade 1 into a unit that can attack a grade 2 or 3, especially the grade 3. Reina, you have to dominate a 9k base unit to have a chance to swing at a grade 3, and there's cross ride numbers which can stop dominate. So if you have a deck that can cross ride, use it. It can counter dominate a bit, but not that by much, especially when you do the arena turns. And it gets a plus 3k on ride. Does Zanki get a plus 3k on ride? Zanki does not get a plus 3k on ride. Then we have Suzu, which gets plus 10k for each attack that a dominate card hit. So if you combine it with Mokoro, it gains plus 50k. Plus 50k. You know this, you can replace her with Oboro or Zangi depending on which card you want. Either with more copies of Suzu or the critical trigger specifically for Shiranui. Those cards are perfect replaceable. Zanki or Ubero, they're both good cards. I prefer Ubero only because of plus 4k more power, but Zanki gives you card advantage and lets you have a use for your soul. Like, nobody uses your soul except for like Mokoro and Zanki. And majority of the time you don't use Mokoro as much unless you're against a clan that uses a lot of rear guards. Then the grade 2, finally the grade 2. I already talked this card. He gains he becomes an 11k beater when Shirinui, which means, and it's not GB base, so you can rush at grade 3. If you went first, you can rush at grade 3. Then we have discard, Enbai, or Enbei. Gets plus 5k. Sadly, it's a hard once. It's a once per turn, not a hard once per turn, just a once per turn. If it wasn't a once per turn, this card would be so good. And we have Tamahagane. It got nerfed so badly because Tamahagane in the TCG gets plus 10. Here, he only gets plus 5. And it's a Tamahagane Met. So you don't run the old Tamahagane even though I have like 4 of them. Old Tamahagane is like, okay, it calls. You can also add that card. You can, like, Abai is like kind of a filler. You can replace Abai with OG Tamahagane. Because Tamahagane Metsu and Abai practically do the same thing. They both gain plus 5,000, except Abai is free, while Metsu require a counterblast, but you draw a card as well. You basically draw a card. Because his skill, Vanguard Regard, on place, top card is binded. If it's a Vanguard, ouch, that card is lost forever. If it's Regard, and you can stride that turn, you basically draw one card. Then we have Uzitachi. Filler. This is basically a filler card. Skill is it retires itself when your dominate unit attacks and it hits. So if it hits, this card goes bye-bye. And your opponent has to discard at the start of their next turn. I added this card over the other card I was running, which was its second skill. I don't use it, but its first skill it gains plus 2k power for every other unit that attacks. It was okay, but like I barely use it. I don't use the skill. Its plus 2k power is nice, but not great. Abai practically does what that thing does, but better. Sure, Abai is a common compared to the other, which is the double rare. Then the G1 slot is so generic for countercharging PGs. The reason why is because the other one you have to discard a card and that's it. If it doesn't discard a card, I would replace the countercharging PG with that, because the countercharging PG you don't really need to countercharge as much. You don't spend that much counterblast as much. I don't think this requires counterblast. Doesn't require counterblast. Doesn't require counterblast. Don't think that counterblast is like majority of your strides. Then Stride Father, you know what that card is. Every clan has a Stride Father. Every clan has a Stride Father. Sometimes they have multiple Stride Fathers for different archetypes. This is for Shirinui because it can search for Shirinui. We have like 3 different Shirinui grade 3s. It searches all of them. You know what it does? On place, you discard a card, you get your Shirinui of your choice. Then we have discard, Tenrei. Tenrei skill, during your turn, your Shirinui Vanguard gets the name and race of your opponent's Vanguard. It does for cards that require a specific thing for it to be usable, like it needs ETB to attack, it needs Outmail to attack, or it needs Dragonic Overlord. If not, it loses power or something. And its main skill, which we like using, is its second skill, which is and when the unit that it boosted hits, or when this card attack hits, it goes to the soul, and your opponent has to discard a card at the start of their next turn. So at card advantage. Then you have Seizui gets plus 3k for every time a dominate unit attacks. It's not a hard once per turn, unlike this card here. Sometimes I don't know if the plus 3k, but it's not a hard once per turn. Would it be better? But then again, it takes 2 dominates to make up 3k boost to match a 5k, more or less. But this is our filler slot as well. You can place this with anything. Maybe you can actually change the ratios for these guys, because the Stride Father and the PG, their ratios locked in. They're locked in. Then our starter, we have no way to change the starter. Every other starter doesn't look as good as this one. It goes to soul. It gives plus 3k power. The activate skill, it goes to soul. Gives plus 3k power to either your dominated unit. So it's like your dominated unit is like a bit short to swing over a rear guard or your opponent's vanguard. It gives it a slight tiny boost. Sadly, it is permanent. So if you do it on initiative, it just gets bigger. And you draw a card, which is nice. And it also retire protection, which is nice as well. And this deck is one of the most powerful decks in the game as well. So if you can make this deck, make it. Is it gonna be fun to play around? Kinda. I did play around with it. The reason why my clan level is so high is because I grinded this before Nubatama became meta. When the Legion Nobatama came, I was playing with Nobatama. It wasn't that good because it wasn't that good, the Legion era of Nobatama, but it was livable. It was livable. It was like it's good enough. But problem is you rely more on your break right turns combining. Oh my gosh, the problems of Vanguard Zero ending is trying to get a match. Like getting a match is so hard on Vanguard Zero. I might be forced to play. Oh, you see this Jewel Knight? I just saw this in clan battles, so it was so good. So I built my own. But still, this is Nobatama. I have chaos. See this? This is chaos. You see the starter here? That's a blouse. I'm testing blouse. You see my streams. I was trying to do it, but it failed because the internet didn't agree with me that day. Uh, Turns out I just needed to close BlueStacks and turn it on again. Hope we get an opponent that's not a VP farmer, which is the reason why Vanguard Zero failed. Like the history of Vanguard Zero. But first Vanguard Zero came out, VP farmers were running amok to the point that Shady Penguin, which is a non Vanguard Zero YouTuber, tried and quit Vanguard Zero. Like within the first season or so, like first month or so, couple of months, then he quit because the amount of VP farmers will just cancel him out from his because it takes so much to do for a game. And Gear Chronicles also another top deck because if it's a ZTB variant, which is Chronojet Z, I have a timer. I have to kill him within 3 stride turns. 2 stride turns. Because at his 3rd stride, he wins. Because very few people can survive a heritage. Which so is like searching Gear Chronicle so good. Gear Chronicle needs to survive 2 stride turns. Most decks can kill at 2 strides. Sometimes they can kill at first stride. Just depends on their grade 2/grade 3 games. Like if they push hard those turns, they can do it. Okay, it is not a ZTB deck. It is a Time Leap deck or a Mishmash deck. Most likely Time Leap. Like there's 3 eras of Vanguard for Chronojet. There's like the first era which is Ragnarok mixed with Next Stage. The second era is Time Leap, which is where this guy comes in. Then there's ZTB, technically ZTB, which is divided to Chronofang Tiger, then Chronojet Dragon. Chronojet Dragon won in that civil war in Gear Chronicles, so yeah, there's that. Well, like I have a complete Gear Chronicle deck in the first era now. Very nice. Don't know if I actually posted it on YouTube. I know I posted the deck where I didn't run Mystery Flare when it came out. Because like Mystery Flare is just 2 RNG and it consumes like 4 counter blasts. Like if it works, great. But if you don't kill your opponent after Mystery Flare, it's like you're basic playing vanilla because you're only at 8 strides back then. Critical. Uh, he runs crits and is that a Legion card? Oh my, this is a really oh Pozoriel. I don't know why he wrote that. Okay, riding this. Calling this here Tamahagane. I'll miss you, and I'll. Did I get? Is it bad or good? It is neutral. I can stride for at least 2 turns, so it's a neutral card to me. I don't run stance. I don't run crits anymore. I used to run like 1 or 2 crits before. Then I changed it to 9 draws, which is kind of generic because I don't run the. The reason why you would run crits in Nubatama is if you run the critical trigger. You don't run your grid as any trigger but draw because we need card advantage. Sure, we take away card advantage from our opponent, but it doesn't change the amount of cards we have, so we need draws. OG Chrono Jet. This card here has resist, even in the TCG. Very nice card, but it's very counter blast heavy because it has a silent thumb skill. Yeah, it has a silent thumb skill or something. The silent thumb skill is you can only guard with triggers or something. No wait, anti silent thumb. Oh, I'm getting confused, and I'm getting you confused now. The thing, do we ride Zanki or do we ride Oboro? We ride Zanki. Zanki's better. Let you draw a card. We will dominate this card. So it kills the intercept for us. Yay. Then we ride Mogen Tembu. And both of my Mogen Tembus, yes, they are both what you call it? SPs. Because I pulled an SP and just crafted the second one using the SP as a template. Same thing with my Mujin Lord. So you'll see those at Vanguard shorts. Because I'm keeping the art up. This is boost and attack, right? Addition attacks or attack boosted hits. This bypasses the retire resist though. Oh my god. Give the thing slightly more power. Be a bit annoying. Give the power here. Then this thing dies. Booyah. Then swing. Activate both of their skills. This is very degenerate. Like, my opponent will discard 2 cards at the start of their turn. Unless it's a hard once per turn thing. I could have called another card, but oh well. Zanki again, so I can do an ultimate stride 2 turns from now. That's the problem when you're using an older deck. Very few old decks can still do it. Like Brawlers has a chance to push hard. Like I was playing and Brawlers like pushed me. I was using Link Joker and they won. I think they won. I was on stream so you guys can check. Because I put my VODs on YouTube. And it was a recent stream so you can either check if it's still on Twitch. Yeah, so discard 2 cards. Which he already did. He drew a card. So he has 2 cards in hand. He has to, maybe one of the cards in his hand is a perfect guard. Okay, what is the 2 cards? A grade 2 on hit, the Garuda clone. Or Bellicosity clone. Ouch. Metallica Phoenix. It was a GR, but in the TCG it was a trial deck card. It's a do nothing first stride card. Technically speaking, even Fate Rider doesn't gain a skill though. It just lets you do pseudo time leap. Okay, the last card is a oh my, the last card is a PG or Heal Guard. Which actually hurts me because I can't do anything. I can do Mujin Lord though. I can do a Mujin Lord and hope for the best. Then call this card here. Activate Mujin Lord skill. I can give 3 unit, 3 triggers plus 4k power, and that's it. And damn, I could have called. I'm gonna call heal guard here since Ragna Clock prevents you from doing heal guards. Ay, damn, I should have called the heal guard a while ago, but oh well. The more you know. Heal is good. Ouch, this heal guard went away. Game useless. Something, something, and nothing. Opponent is pushed forward. This is gonna be an easy game. It will take a miracle for my opponent to win. Like, the only way they could win is if they mystery flare. The only way they can win is do a mystery flare because that's the only way. Because they try Metallica Phoenix. Is Metallica Phoenix the Zodiac Time Beast? It is not. It's just a Gear Beast. The two cards in his hand must be. I have two options here. I can either go Rene or Drachma right now. I can either go Rene or Drachma right now. Wait, before that, let us check. G-Zone. Drachma requires how many counterblasts? 2 counterblasts. Rene is like. Rene. I won't be able to maximize Rene anyways. I superior call discard here. Okay. Ride skip. Yeah, I'll go Drachma. Because Drachma might guarantee the win. It might possibly guarantee the win here for me. It just might possibly guarantee the win. Use this card skill. This card will remain. This will become mine now. If it retires that, oh well. It's a mass board wipe. Superior rides a PG. Heal guard goes away. Calling an Oboro card. Then swing with Drachma. Don't be a swing with a stronger unit. Giving power to Rigger just in case. Even if they heal, they didn't heal. That's game 1. That's very oppressive. Literally oppressive. That's the problem when people run not okay-ish decks on rank, especially now. But then again, people won't have fun. But then again, the person just didn't build the deck properly. Like their first right is Metallica Phoenix. Fate Rider would have been a better card because it would have the time leap ability, semi time leap. Because, like, why doesn't he run Glimmerbreath? Glimmerbreath's a good card. It helps with rewind thing that Gear Chronicle does. Rewind is a term where you put a card that's on the field to the bottom of the deck. Or is that push forward? Because it goes to the deck, which is the future. Or it's going to the past because that's where it came from. People prefer rewind. Okay, I've now ranked up. I showed what Mugen Lord can do. I made a misplay in the Mugen Lord turn because I should have called the heal guard first. If I was gonna commit, I should have committed before that, and that was a misplay. Now, this is game 2. Will we get a good deck to play against? Sometimes I'm just thinking of like I have like multiple accounts that I have access to. I have an account that has an OKS Dark Irregulars. I have another account that has OKS OKish Aquaforce and Link Joker and Gold Paladin. I can just use those decks. I can just do friend fight based deck profile since I technically can do that. Where I can pick a deck and just use that as my opponent. But then again, my main account is very busted compared to those two accounts. I have to check the other account, but then I have to update that. It's been so long and I don't know if the person actually plays that deck anymore. Okay, Gear Chronicle again. Is it ZTV? We'll actually face a very powerful deck, or we're gonna face a little bit not as powerful. No offense to Timely players, when Timely was in that game, it pushed Gear Chronicle. Gear Chronicle was just Kagero with extra steps. Now it was its own thing because of Timely. And I'm going first, and Gear Chronicle gets first stride. It's gonna be hard because I have commented, and Gear Chronicle has been able to hold the line in clan battles. And I'm advertising for clan battles. I have like 4 videos. I think they're all up in their clan battles. Okay, they use that Stride Father instead of a Zodiac Time Beast Stride Father. They do basically the same thing except the Zodiac Time Beast Stride Father can be searched by the dragon. And stun trigger. They run actual stun triggers. Why? When in place, you have a Gear Colossus Zodiac Time Beast, Vanguard or Heart, come blast to draw a card, and bind this card to your hand. And bind a card from your hand. And Soul Charge 1. Must be the Soul Charge is really nice. Swing. Yes, that card as well. Why? Because the Phoenix requires Zodiac Time Beast units, though. The the Phoenix Superior Zodiac Time Beast. Each card you have that's not a Zodiac Time Beast decreases your chances of using the Phoenix. Nobody runs this card. When played, card +1, rest another Zodiac Time Beast trigger to bind the top card of your deck. If that card is a Zodiac Time Beast, draw a card, and this unit is just 2k. My opponent is running a lot of janky cards. If I remember, you can bind this card the moment you ride, though. My opponent didn't deal me damage, but like, giving plus 2k. It will now. I'll swing this for one reason. That card will add him a card, so it would be better for me to do that because it's like it will add a card to him, which will be bad for me. He will add a grade 3 or grade 1 Zodiac Time Beast, which is really bad for me. I should have wrote Oboro. Oboro will have gained 3k. Never mind, I got a trigger. My deck says we want you to win this game, which I'll also say in clan battles to the players' decks. You see your triggers? Why does he run that? Like the Zodiac Time Beast triggers is perfect, it's very good, but doesn't counter charge. Doesn't counter charge. It's only good skills like you can recycle it for like cheap. I don't think you need to discard recycle. Which I'm pretty close to completing my own Zodiac Time Beast deck. Alright, because the Treasure Trick with Nepada and Split Pegasus, my weird way of using Split Pegasus is gone now. I don't use Split Pegasus. I use it as a G flip cost. Oh my gosh, that card? Lost Age Dragon? Amazing. Oh my gosh, my starter's gonna go away. It's retire protection, not rewind protection. So it's like, bye bye starter, I'll miss you. Which will do nothing. But still, the opponent is very tempting. Thing is like Rene First Stride. But Rene First Stride will do nothing because it's like Vanguard will be. Never mind. Rene First Stride. Should I do a Rene First Stride? Rene can really push her and it will depends on mine. If I get the grade change that grade 2. I was trying to pronounce his name. Zatsuga. No, Zatsugo. Zadatsugo. Bye bye starter, I'll miss you. And my Vanguard's too strong for a sure guard now. Oh my gosh. Paying the cost of a skill that you will not be able to use. This must be a new player. Okay. I will know. Wait, I'll call this card because it gets power. That's the thing. Skip, and I'm gonna go with Mugen Tenbu and discarding Oboro. I have to pick the grade 3 because this card skill says it can't attack, so okay, putting this card here, putting this card here, and then putting this card here. No. Activating skill. It gets even bigger power and it's gonna go drop zone, which will be more advantageous for my opponent, but still. Should have targeted the grade 1 if that was the case. Now my opponent has to discard a card. Bye bye. Uh, might as well. This is hoping. Swing. One trigger for this to hit. One trigger for this to hit. One trigger. Yes, I get the trigger and I need two triggers for this, but this is the second check. Ah well, all three will go. Doesn't have a perfect guard. And one more perfect guard in hand. Does not. If that was heal, it's not a heal. I showed what this deck can do. It's just really overpowered. Or my two the opposing decks. Anyways, I run this on rank and I stream. So if you want to see more impressive games, just look at my Twitch VODs for more impressive games. I'm just here to explain what they do. Deck profiles are just here for me to put words either in text form to my right, to the right of what you see is what reasons why I run those cards. And my voice is to tell you why I run those cards. But in the end, thank you for watching. Sorry I'm very annoying, but I just feel sad. The game's ending. It makes me more irritable. I'm sorry. Thank you guys for watching, and bye bye.